Good morning, Stampers. Welcome to an extra Facebook Live this week. I wanted to pop in because I've been having so much fun playing with this Well Done stamp set, or the Whale of a Time suite, that I wanted to share this card that I created the other day. I love how it turned out. Okay, so what I'm using today is the Well Done stamp set and the Seabed embossing folder. And good morning, Janie. And the stitched nested labels. So those are the three main products that I'm using this morning. And we're going to create a standard size card, but it's got kind of like a fold out. So it's kind of like a fun fold, but it's a very simple one. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me grab my pieces here. Okay, so my card base is a standard size thick whisper white card. Measures 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Good morning, Shirley. We're just gonna fold that in half and we'll set that aside. We don't need that right now. And then I have a piece of whisper white cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4. This we are going to emboss using, good morning, Christine, using the Seabed embossing folder. This embossing folder is stunning. Wait till you see this. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside because we're going to do all our big shotting at the same time. Or I guess it's not big shot anymore, our Stampin' Cut and Emboss. I think I'm just going to call it the Big Boss because that's just way too much of a mouthful. All right, and then I have a piece of whisper white cardstock, and I am going to cut the second largest stitched nested label from that. And then I've got a scrap of Pacific Point. This is a color I don't use very often. And I'm going to cut the largest stitched nested label from that. So those are the things that need to get done in the die machine, but let me explain the other pieces that I have here so we can go through all of the measurements all at the same time. I also have another piece of whisper white cardstock. This is going to be for the inside. It measures 3 3/4 by 5, and a piece of Granny Apple Green that measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So these two pieces are going to go on the inside. And look at that green with the Pacific Point. I love that color combination. I'm thinking Ethan's birthday is at the end of the month, and I'm thinking that that might be the color combination for the card that I create. So I'm going to set those two pieces aside. And then the last piece that we need is, I've got a piece of Pacific Point here that measures 1 3/8 by 4 inches, and it's scored at 1.5 inches. And I'm going to set that aside until we're ready for that. Okay, so let me get my Big Boss. So this is our new die cutting machine, in case you guys haven't seen it. And it folds up nice and compact and then folds down. And then these are all the plates or the layers that come with it. And they're all numbered, which makes it so nice and easy to put together your sandwich layers. Okay, so we are going to emboss first. So I'm going to put plate number 1 down, and it tells you what you need to do. So this is a 3D embossing folder. So this is the sandwich layer that I follow, okay? So I've got my base plate number 1, I've got my embossing folder with my cardstock in it. You always feed the seam in first, and then we need plate number 4. See, it's got that number on there, so it's all pretty self-explanatory. So then I'm just going to feed that through. And I shared last night on my VIP page, I shared that if you are using our old 3D embossing folders, so the new ones are a little bit thinner than the older ones that we had. If you are using the older ones that are a little bit thicker, this plate is a little bit too thick to feed through. So use one of your number 3 plates when you feed it through and you won't have a problem. All right, so look at that pattern on there. Look at that texture. It's so pretty. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna set that aside. We'll move this out of the way. Okay, and now we are going to die cut. So let me move this back so that you guys can see it. Okay, so these ones are for embossing folders. So then I bring in this extra plate. So this is number 2, and it tells me the sandwich layer if I'm cutting thin dies, which that's what these are. Okay, so I'm going to put, I've got my 1, I've got my 2, I'm going to put a number 3 down. Now I always have, my bottom plate is always the most marked up plate, because it's always, that way I can wear that one out, and then when this one is really bad, I can throw this one out and then move this, the top one, to the bottom and just replace one plate at a time. Okay, and we are going to cut this, and let's see, will I be able to fit both on here? Yeah, I think I will. Okay, so we're going to feed that through, and then we need another number 3 on the top. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, and we'll feed that through. Okay, so we'll slide this out of the way. We're all done with the big boss. Okay, and we'll move these out of the way. Okay, now this second largest one for me, this is super tight. I've used this so much that it is really, really tight. So if I use my take your pick tool and use that flat edge, if you've got any dies that are really tight like this, this is perfect. So I just slide it in there and I carefully feed it around, and it's popping up nicely. So if you have any dies that are tricky like that, that are really tight, this tool is really handy for that. There we go. All right, so we've got that one, and then this one isn't too bad. Okay, so now we have our pieces. We can go ahead and start to assemble. So this piece is going to go right on here, and I just realized that this is directional. Oh, I knew it was directional, but I wasn't thinking when I embossed. So this is actually the way the pattern is meant to go, but we're going to put it this way on our card. But I think because most of it is going to get covered over, I don't think anybody will notice. So we're going to leave it as is. Okay, so I've got my seal adhesive, and I'm just going to apply a little bit in all 4 corners. You actually don't need a lot of this adhesive. It's really a really good adhesive. It's really strong. Love it. It does take a bit to get used to, especially if you are you are accustomed to using the fast fuse. Okay, and then we're going to do the base of our card, and then we'll do the focal point. So I'm going to take this piece that has the score line in it, fold it over, and then these 2 pieces are going to get stuck together. I love this granny apple green color. And then this piece, okay, let me think here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want this to be here, but we don't want to add adhesive, so we don't need this right now. What I'm going to do, so I've got this lined up so that it's in the center. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to put adhesive on this bit here. Hello, Beth. I haven't seen you for a while. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And then I'll just close my card, and that's going to give me my little flap. And then on here, we'll just add adhesive. And this just, that pop of green just dresses up the inside just a little bit. Okay, just like that. Okay, so that's the base of our card. So now we're going to do some stamping. So I've got my white piece. I'm going to bring in just a scrap piece of paper, and we are going to use images from the Well Done stamp set. So I'm going to use this image, and I think the coral and the seahorse. I may add some bubbles as well, we'll see. So I'm going to use the seaweed, or I'm assuming that's what this is. Ink that up. I've got Granny Apple Green here. And I'm going to stamp it a few times. So once, and then do it again. I love generation stamping because then you get the various shades without having to pull in extra colors. I actually really like that light. An extra one there. And another little one down here. All right, there we go. So we're done with that one. And then we're gonna bring in the coral. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to stamp this onto a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock. I'm just pulling a scrap piece from my bin here. And I'm gonna use coral, Calypso Coral ink. And I did not pre-do this. This is an ad lib. On my original sample, I stamped it right on here. And it looks good. It's a little bit busy. So this time I'm going to stamp it on some scrap and then just fussy cut around it. So while I'm cutting, I'm going to tell you about my current class in the mail, which features this bundle, actually almost the entire suite, because it's just so adorable. I'll share the cards with you in just a minute, but there are 3 different options, and I will post a link in the description above, or if you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, I'll post it in the description below. But option 1 is the I Want It All option, and it includes the Well Done bundle at a savings of 10%. So that includes the Well Done stamp set and then the whale punch, which coordinates with it, of course. It includes the Whale of a Time 6x6 DSP, which is adorable DSP. One side has these really pretty, almost like scene type images. And then the other side is more subdued, kind of tone on tone patterns for the most part. And it includes the Seabed Embossing folder, which is the embossing folder that I just used, and the Flowers for Every Season gems. And if you order all of those products using this host code, you will get the card kits absolutely free, and you'll get 2 of each for 3 different cards. Oops, I don't want to throw that out. Okay, we're going to try just one and see how it looks. And you get those free from me. Or the second option is if you already own the bundle, then you can pay a fee. It's $45. It includes the Whale of a Time DSP, the Flowers for Every Season, and then the kits to create the 6 cards. So I will post all of that above. The third option is for members of my team. They can actually get the tutorial absolutely free for being a team member. Okay, so I am going to make this a thank you card. And I don't want to do thanks a ton because I'm using turtles on this page rather than a whale, so I don't feel like the ton is appropriate. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out my positioning here. And I also want to add a little seahorse. I love this little seahorse. I'm just reaching, I'm going to stamp that in Pretty Peacock. And I stamp that right on here. I still haven't decided if I'm going to cut out that extra one. I'm going to position everything here and see. Okay, this guy's going to go right here. Oh, congratulations on a new grandson. That's awesome, Beth. What's his name? Okay. All right, and these little turtles, these are cut from right from one of the patterned papers. So I'm thinking my little guys will go there. Actually, I don't even know that I'm going to add the coral. I might just leave the coral off. Okay. So I am going to stamp this down. Now, I love our Stampin' Write markers. Love, love, love them. However, I do not love using them on our photopolymer stamps. So I am going to do this using a masking technique. So I'm going to ink, well, I'm going to tape over the words a ton. So I'm going to cover that over so I don't need to worry about that. Making sure that I'm not covering my thank you word or my thanks. And then I'm going to ink up the word thanks. And then the trick with this is remembering to remove the tape before you stamp. So I'm going to peel off the tape and stamp my greeting on here. This set is so cute for so many different occasions. And I think it's good for any age as well. Like, I don't think that this is necessarily a juvenile set, although it can be. I think it could also work for lots of people, lots of age groups. Okay. All right, so I think that's how it's going to look. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and stick this onto here. In the center, just like that. And then this, I'm bringing in my card base, so this has my little flap on it. I know, Christine, isn't it adorable? And I'm going to add just a little bit of adhesive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add adhesive to the center here. And then I'm going to add a couple strips of adhesive here. Because you want, because it's going to be opened and closed so much, you want it to stick really well. So I'm just sticking this down in the center, lining it up in the center this way, but also side to side. There we go. And then we're going to grab some dimensionals and add our turtles. This guy. These turtles are so sweet. There is a turtle in the stamp set as well, but I had started cutting out some of these turtles, so I just ended up fussy cutting the whole sheet because I just love them, and I knew that that's how I would use that patterned paper, was just these adorable little turtles. All right, and then we're going to add some little gems. So I've got these flowers for every season gems. And let's see, where do we want to add them here? We'll do one here. And then a couple more here. Thank you for sharing, Jean. I really appreciate it when you guys share my videos. All right, there we go. So coral or no coral? You know what, I like it with just the blue and the green. I think it's cute. So let me bring in the other one. The other one I made as a welcome card. Thought it would be a really cute baby card. Just moving this stuff out of the way. So this one I stamped the coral. It is kind of nice with the orange added in. And then I used welcome. This is from, let me check the name of this set here. It is from Well Said, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the set. So welcome, and you could use it for a baby card. It would be super cute. All right, and then it just opens up like this and like this. So kind of a fun fold. I have a different version on my YouTube channel today. It uses a lot of the same products, and it's a little bit of a different fold. If you want to check that out, I will also post a link in the description above. So, all right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember that Friday is the last day that you have, the last opportunity that you have to sign up for this Whale of a Time hard felt card kit, where you get the cards. Oh, I was going to show you the cards. Let me share the cards with you really quickly here. So you get the supplies to create 2 of each of these cards. So that's super cute one. A little shaker card, and then this is fabulous. It's made out of a window sheet. So fun. So if you want the supplies to create those cards, then and the tutorial, then you can participate in the Whale of a Time Heartfelt Card Kit. And like I said, I will post a link to more details in the description. All right, thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous day, guys.